Today is 5/19/2015 at 9:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I'm going to do my push-ups for the first time today. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 50 good ones. Okay, 50 big ones. 50 big ones. Yeah. Yeah, I was finding out about the cannabis or hemp plant, hemp, the pot, the weed, the joint. That's like a little kid's toy for adults. Adults. It's really silly. Really silly. It's like a little kitty toy for adults, quote quote. All you gotta do is make the THC low and have the CBD high, and you won't get high. I mean, if you do, it'll be very, very mild, and you can barely feel it probably, they say. Then no one will want it, because then it truly is for medical use. Where today's pot isn't. It's got so much THC in it, which your body don't need, and it absolutely does nothing for any type of ailment or sickness. Does nothing for it. Your body has no use for THC at all, ever. And that's the part that makes you high. So that's why I'm saying. When adults use it, quote, adults. Define adult. Man, it's like a little kid. You're like little kids. Except they'll want to kill you, if you're against them. It's silly, but the higher the CBD, the better though, because that's the part that's gonna, help you with pain and sickness. Even though it doesn't get you high, or very high at all. That's the part that's gonna make you feel better. Oh well, no one wants it when it's like that though, because they want the high. They don't want their sickness or their pain to subside. They want it for the high. It's a cover-up story. It's a big cover-up. They want it legal, so they don't. When they get caught getting high, they don't go to jail for it. That's the whole thing. It's a cover-up. legalizing pot in any state is a cover-up. Simple. Because once you take that THC out of there, even though it's still, the hemp plant, but you can't really get high off of it. No, they'd be burning their car, dude. If they had a pot card, it'd be like when people burn their draft card, but worse, everybody would be burning it. We don't need this. We're gonna get caught anyway, so we don't need this card. It don't mean nothing anymore anyway, because if all the law has to do is say illegal pot plant or hemp or cannabis plant has to have a high CBD to be legal, period, whether it be recreational or medical. Right there will eliminate everybody. 99% of the people want pot and has pot cards now. It'll eliminate them. And they'd be jailed just like they should be jailed as a criminal. That wants to be high all the time. That's the facts. You know me, I'm Dan. Next time, or same time, same channel. See you then. Today is 5/19/2015 at 1:23 p.m. on a Tuesday. I think I got it right. I'm going to do my push-ups for the second time today. Put my glasses there. Jog here. Jog there. And do my push-ups here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. See, it did me a little stop. It did me a little stop after 10 reps. It's harder that way. Harder that way, that's for sure. It stopped your motion, your momentum, but it's a little harder. So, I did my 50 big ones, 50 push-ups. As far as the hemp or weed or what do you call it? Can't think of it. Cannabis. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, couldn't think of it there for a minute. The weed and the hemp, cannabis. Well, when it's hemp or cannabis, it's just a plant, and that's just the plant is a herb. It's not until you manufacture it, maybe picking it or drying it, picking it, and then cutting it up or whatever you do to it, make it so you can smoke it or make tea out of it or take it internally or whatever else you do with it. That's when it becomes a drug. The hemp plant itself is a herb. That's what they say. I guess a weed can be a herb. I guess a weed can be a herb then, because that's why they call
the hemp plant or marijuana or pot, a weed. So I guess a weed is a hemp too, or a weed, hemp, or cannabis. That's why they call it weed, because it is a weed. It's a plant you want to just pull up and throw out. It's a weed. It doesn't really have any use other than being a weed, But especially the THC in it, your body doesn't need that, and it just makes you high, more THC. And it's been found on the street as high as 36% THC. And they say that shit will put you on your back damn near. Even if you've been smoking pot for a while. If you haven't been smoking pot for a while, that shit will definitely put you on your back. But because you build up tolerance against it each time you smoke it. But smoking ain't good for you anyway. It doesn't matter what you're smoking. It doesn't matter. It's not good for you. But especially not good for your lungs, let alone the body. But the only way pot can even be the most effective is if you raise the CBD percent of it. And when you raise the CBD percent of it, which is the medical part of it, it's possibly a medical use. See, pot is a tricky plant. It's a tricky plant because it's got 400 elements in it. And the reason why the FDA can never approve pot, no matter what you do to it, they can't approve it because of the rules, of the FDA rules, that you must be able to supply or pinpoint exact dosage of something. And since pot has 400 elements in it, and this pot plant growing right beside the same pot plant, when you got 100 pot plants or something, each one of those are individual. They have their own amount of elements. So therefore, the FDA can never approve pot or weed. It can't. It's against the rules. They have to change the rules so that they could have a more variance of elements. And they're not going to do that, because then once you start varying the elements, then you start varying the effectiveness of it, which you don't know what you're prescribing then. I mean, you could be prescribing, say, pot, and you're prescribing, or saying that you can, you're giving them a pot, some type of pot or weed, that it can't be FDA approved because of the elements, and every pot plant is different in the elements. So, that's the reason why the FDA will never approve pot. It can't. It's against the rules. You got to have a precise amount of something, which you can't get a precise amount of something on pot, period. Now, if they extract the medical part, which is the CBD part of it, if they can extract just that part, then they can give you an exact amount. But I don't know if they can extract just that part of it. I don't know. That'd be great if they could. It'd be bad for the pot users because there'd be no use for a pot card anymore, because you're taking the medical part out of the pot, and there would be no THC, the part that makes you high. So, and even if they do a hybrid pot plant that has a high percentage of the CBD in it, because the higher the CBD, the lower the THC. So they do now today grow it that way, but very few plants and very few people grow it that way because no one wants it, because you can't get high off of it. You can smoke 10 joints, and not get high off of it. You want for 10 times, and where's my high? Where's my high? You know, what they're doing is taking in the medical part of it all. That's the most beneficial, but they don't care about that. That's just a cover up. That's just a legal cover up. When a state becomes a pot plant or a pot state, it's a legal cover up. That's all it is, to be high and to deal with the drug THC. It has nothing to do with the medical part of it. That's just a cover up. It's a cover up. Because there's nothing in THC that medical anything THC. You don't need that. The human body doesn't need it. Whether it's sick with cancer, you know, or sick with some kind of stomach ailment that you can't eat, you know, you don't have an appetite, you don't need the THC. THC you do not need for anything. It's the CBD that is possibly the medical part of it. And what I've seen, yeah, it's fact, man. Because this guy had an abdominal problem where that, you know, it's like a seizure, a constant seizure. And then when he smoked pot, you know, he was talking normal. It's because of the CBD in it, not the THC. And then this little 5-year-old girl, she was having 300 seizures a week or something like that, like seizure after seizure. And sometimes she'd flatline at the hospital, and they'd revive her. And they started giving her a high CBD content pot by mouth, which they just added to one of her teaspoon of food. They just added that little bit of amount in with that, and she doesn't have a seizure. She doesn't have a seizure for weeks on end. You tell me that CBD isn't something useful, and that comes from the pot plant. But this THC is going to kill you, and it's going to hurt you. THC is what's going to hurt you, not CBD. I think that's a very viable drug, the CBD. It doesn't make you high at all. You can't get high off it. And if you smoke that same pot plant that's high in CBD, you won't get high off it either. Because it goes together. The higher the CBD in a pot plant, the lower the THC, which it gets so low that you won't even feel it. It'd be like smoking regular just cigarettes. That's all it'd be like. You wouldn't even feel high. But like the pot person who was growing that, or the company, you know, it's a bunch of people had massive amounts of greenhouses with pot in it. They had one greenhouse with the highest CBD in it, and no one wants that. We don't want that shit. We don't want that shit. That don't get me high. We want your 100 other greenhouses full of the pot that is high in THC, which THC means nothing to your body other than it makes you high. It doesn't cure anything. Pot anyway, no matter what breed it, no matter what hybrid or what type of pot it is, it has never cured anything. Not glaucoma, not heart attack. Well, pot. That's one of the things about side effects of pot. Period. When it has a high THC content, the first minute to 2 minutes, your heart rate goes up 100%. That's why when you see where someone's been using pot, they have a heart attack. That's why, because of the high beat rate goes up 100%. Once you take a toke from a joint, your heart rate is going to go up 100% within a minute to 2 minutes. It's going to go up 200 or 100%. So, people say no one's ever died from pot. Okay, they died from a heart attack, which pot causes. Did they die from pot? Of course they did, but no one will say that because they don't want to put anything bad on pot because of the THC in it. And THC does nothing medically. It does nothing medically. But the CBD does. Or I say it does because of those two people I talked about. But there's not enough study to prove anything. Pot is very inconclusive. And it's because of the 400 elements in it, not just the CBD and the THC. It's got 400 elements in it. That's why everything's inconclusive. Because this pot plant is different from that pot plant, and it's why the FDA cannot approve it. I'm Dan. Same time, same channel. See you then. Today is 5/19/2015 at 7:16 p.m. It's on a Tuesday. Push-ups for the third time. Put my glasses here.
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50.
See, now that's the way to do push-ups. Stop after every 10. Slows down your momentum, makes them harder. Glorious old pot plant, the cannabis, the hemp plant. It's definitely misunderstood, and for medical use, I don't think so. That's just the cover. For medical use, it's just the cover for a person so you can smoke it to get high and not get in trouble with a pot card. Although pot is 100% illegal in all 50 states federally. Let me say that. Pot is federally illegal in all 50 states to use or to sell. Doesn't matter. It's federally illegal in all 50 of the USA states. All. The pot card is just a state law. That's why when a state adopts that law, they call that a pot state, or weed state, or cannabis, or hemp. But because that's not a federal law. It's a local, state-only law, and the feds rule over all 50 states, where your state doesn't. That's why if someone does a crime in jump state, it's hard to get that person in jump state back into the state he did the crime. What do you call it? You call that so when they do that, I'm trying to think what they call that. Where they catch them in one state and they have them shipped back to the other state. There's a word for that. I can't think of it though. Oh well. But the pod thing is, that's why when I say a doll, I'm going, a doll. They're like little kids and pot's their toy. It's stupid, but it messes up their health. a lot of side effects on pot. One of the biggest ones, it can cause you to have a heart attack right away. Within the first 2 minutes of smoking pot, your chances of having a heart attack are really high. And of course, it causes lung cancer. Any irritant like smoke will create an environment for good cancer growth. And some people say, oh, it helps cancer. It don't. The only thing that can help cancer, or anything medically, is the CBD, or the CBD in pot. And in most pots, it's very low. It's a very low percentage of CBD, very low, where it's hardly any help at all. Where in hybrid pot, to contain a lot higher percentage of CBD, it's way more credible for medical use. But then the high goes away. You don't get high off that kind of pot, even if you smoke 10 joints. You just barely even feel it probably. Because the higher the CBD, the lower the THC, which makes you high, which the body doesn't need. It doesn't help in anything like glaucoma or anything, cancer. It doesn't help any at all. THC doesn't. All that does is get you high. That's all. The higher the THC, or the higher the THC, the less you need to get high. They found THC on the street containing 36% THC. That's like almost the highest a pot plant can have. And pot started out as from 0.5% or 0.5% to 1%. Most pot had THC. That's the most the pot had was 0.5%, which is 0.5% to 1%. Now it's been hybrid to over 36%. So you tell me the difference. 36% will damn near put you on your back, even if you are a heavy pot smoker. Hey, but if you hybrid the pot plant to have a lot of CBD, high percentage, then the THC goes down, and no one wants it because it doesn't make you high. But it's the most valuable medical use that pot can be, with a high CBD. But then your high is gone. So no one wants it except for special people who are going to almost die without it. So that's the big difference. You know me, I'm Dan, same time, same channel. See you then.